Urgent, Niners fan. Look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest Niners news, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. The Saints should try to trade for 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy. They should call the 49ers and offer them the 9th pick in the draft in exchange for Purdy. Suddenly, the New Orleans Saints are in desperate need of a starting quarterback. Will they call up the 49ers and try to trade for Brock Purdy? Their current starting quarterback, Derek Carr, has a shoulder injury which could cost him the entire 2025 season, according to reports. The remaining quarterbacks on their roster are Spencer Rattler, Jacob Hayner, and Ben DiNucci, which means the Saints almost certainly will have another dismal season unless they make a bold move for a new quarterback. When Carr was healthy last season, the Saints were solid. His win-loss record was 55. Without him, they were 0-7. And Carr isn't particularly good anymore. He's an average starting quarterback at best, so the Saints might just make the playoffs if they were to find an upgrade. After all, they play in a terrible division. They should call the 49ers and offer them the 9th pick in the draft in exchange for Purdy, and then the Saints should pay him more than $50 million per season to be the heir apparent to Drew Brees. Purdy would be a great fit for the Saints because they play in a dome and he struggles to throw in wet weather, so he wouldn't have to worry about precipitation for half of his games. Meanwhile, the 49ers would have 2 first-round picks, number 9 and number 11. They could use one of those picks on a quarterback, Shadir Sanders, EUSD, or they could make Mac Jones the starter and draft a backup in the later rounds. The 49ers are beginning to rebuild, so paying Purdy more than $50 million per season doesn't really make sense for them at this time. Call them up, Saints. Pausing this news, just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest Niners news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks. Now let's get back to the news. NFL free agency prediction sends 5-time Pro Bowler to 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers entered the 2024 season as the defending NFC champions after coming frustratingly close to winning Super Bowl LV. But their hopes of winning their 6th Vince Lombardi trophy quickly went up in smoke. Amidst a gnarly rash of injuries to key players, they went just 710 and missed the playoffs. To add insult to injury, they lost several important players in free agency this offseason, partly as a cost-cutting measure so they can give quarterback Brock Purdy the contract extension he deserves. The Niners did make a major move, however, by bringing back defensive coordinator Robert Saleh after he had spent 3 seasons and change as the New York Jets head coach. The hope is that Saleh, who was San Francisco's defensive coordinator from 2017 to 2020, will revive a once-dominant defense that was 29th in points allowed last season. Christopher Knox of Bleacher Report suggested that the team sign free agent, linebacker C.J. Mosley, who spent the last several seasons in New York and played for Saleh there. The 49ers lost several key contributors early in free agency, including linebacker Dre Greenlaw, Knox wrote. Reloading the linebacker group should still be a priority. C.J. Mosley was limited to 4 games in 2024 by toe and neck injuries. Hell also turned 33 in June. However, he's a 5-time Pro Bowler who spent time with the Jets under Robert Saleh, who returned to San Francisco as the defensive coordinator this offseason. As recently as 2023, Mosley was someone who was playing at a Pro Bowl level. That year, he had 7 passes defended, 5 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, and 152 total tackles, 82 solo. Despite his injuries in 2024, Pro Football Focus still ranked him 22nd among 189 NFL linebackers in run defense grade. Run defense is one of the multiple weaknesses the Niners have on that side of the football. If they were to reunite Mosley with Saleh, perhaps Mosley wouldn't be an every-down linebacker at this stage of his career. But if he can play alongside Mike linebacker Fred Warner, he could help them resurrect their defense, not to mention their Super Bowl dreams. CBS Sports Mock Draft has the 49ers taking another wide receiver in the first round. Everybody groan. It's Arizona wide receiver Tetairoa McMillan, a stud wide receiver, but this is the 49ers. They need a defensive and offensive line. Do they get another patch catcher instead? When the San Francisco 49ers drafted Ricky Pearsall in the first round of the 2024 NFL Draft, saying the pick was mixed is an understatement. In our survey results, the pick received a C grade, and most wondered why the offensive line wasn't addressed. Well, this mock draft will give you all those feelings again. In his recent mock draft at CBS Sports, Jeff Kerr has the 49ers taking Arizona wide receiver Titairoa McMillan. The 49ers find their Deebo Samuel replacement in McMillan the best wideout in this draft class. McMillan can play wide or in the slot, and his deep ball ability gives the 49ers another explosive pass catcher in a revamped offense. Another wide receiver. Oh goody, this should go over well. And yet, I'm kind of on board with this. The 49ers have Brandon Ayuk recovering from knee surgery. He's not getting traded, it's just not happening. And they have Jawan Jennings for another year. McMillan is insurance and a cheaper option for 2026 free agency. I don't necessarily think the 49ers need a Deebo Samuel replacement. That's not to say they need a wide back, it's just the way the offense seems to go now. The fly sweeps Samuel did don't seem to work like they used to. Just because I'm on board doesn't mean I wouldn't be disappointed. To throw to a wide receiver, you need, an offensive line. One that blocks, so you can actually get the pass out. Or a defense to get your offense onto the field so you can throw to him. I'd love this pick, but the 49ers have more pressing needs. That said, taking McMillan keeps the wide receiver position from regressing to the days of Chip Kelly's roster. McMillan is projected as a mid to late first-round pick in most mocks, so it's not a strange pick for his projection. It's safe to assume. The 49ers will add a wide receiver or two, either as UDFAs or later in the draft. The 49ers did meet recently with Pittsburgh wide receiver Kanata Mumpfield. Mumpfield has seen more as one of those aforementioned late draft picks or even an undrafted free agent. McMillan is a stud, and I'd love to have him on the 49ers. Unfortunately, the 49ers have more significant needs. What do you think of this pick? Shocking 49ers. Contract update on Brock Purdy revealed at first glance, San Francisco 49ers quarterback. Brock Purdy has built a quality resume to make him one of the highest-paid quarterbacks in the league this season. A 23-13 record as a starter, coupled with a Super Bowl and 2 conference title appearances, show he has been able to win at an extremely high rate for anyone starting quarterback. Not everyone believes he should be among the highest-paid players. And as his contract negotiations with the 49ers continue to stall, it may be time to question exactly if San Francisco even wants a deal done at this point. A high-ranking NFC personnel man who requested anonymity told Sports Illustrated's Matt Verderame that the 49ers should not extend Purdy. I'd play it out as long as possible without paying him if I was San Francisco, including using tags, etc. Said the source via Verderame, I think paying him $50+ million is very risky. Not paying Purdy as an updated strategy? That seems shocking. There are going to be people on either side of this debate regarding Purdy, especially after the 49ers had an abysmal 2024 season that saw them finish 6-11 with many of their key starters going down with injuries. San Francisco opened free agency, with several losses along both sides of the ball to remain ready for any deal that comes for their starting quarterback. Owner Jed York has also made it clear that the team will eventually find a deal for Purdy, but the longer the standoff goes on, the more obvious it is that the team sides are far apart on a deal, and that isn't something time can take care of so close to the 2025 draft. 49ers have a Hall of Fame history of drafting players at number 11 overall. The Niners should try picking players 11th overall more often. The 49ers have landed some massive talent when picking 11th overall in the NFL draft, including a couple of Hall of Fame legends. Generally speaking, it's not necessarily a good thing for teams to own the 11th overall pick in the NFL draft, while not exactly stemming from a terrible 2 or 3 win season the year prior, as the top 5 drafting teams might have experienced. A pick right before the teens usually indicates coming off a down year. And that's precisely what the San Francisco 49ers experienced after going 6-11 in 2024, resulting in them receiving the number 11 overall pick in the 2025 draft a few months later. Each draft is its own unique beast, of course, and no 2 draft classes can ever be alike. That said, the Niners can take some comfort knowing they've landed some massive success stories when their number had been previously called at number 11 overall. Let's take a look at every player San Francisco selected 11th overall. 49ers history. Of players selected 11th overall in NFL Draft 2010 OT, Anthony Davis. Rutgers, while offensive tackle Anthony Davis' sudden retirement and re-retirement from the 49ers in 2015 and again in 2016 cast a gloomy shadow over his pro career, there's no questioning the fact he was a vital part of what was truly a mauling offensive line during the early 2010s under then-head coach Jim Harbaugh. Coupled with left tackle Joe Staley, Davis helped bookend this formidable O-line, and the latter was a mainstay, starting every single game at right tackle from his rookie season through 2013. 2007 LB Patrick Willis, Ole Miss Hall of Fame linebacker. Patrick Willis deserves recognition as one of the greatest Niners players of all time, and the franchise found out he was heading in that direction during his rookie year when he secured both first-team All-Pro and Defensive Rookie of the Year honors. That memorable 2007 season kicked off a career that, while shorter than most had hoped, nevertheless culminated in 7 Pro Bowl accolades, 5 first-team All-Pro selections, being named to the All-2010s team, and eventual enshrinement in Canton. 2 bad injuries kept Willis from playing beyond 2014, but he nevertheless remains a cornerstone in Niners lore. 1966 DL Stan Heineman, Ole Miss going back into the archives, San Francisco landed a quality defensive lineman in 1966 out of Mississippi. Stan Heineman, who'd record 26 sacks unofficial over 7 years with the 49ers, including 12 his sophomore season over the course of 13 games. Imagine that kind of production now over a 17-game season. Heineman would be a blockbuster star defender. 1967 was the exception. Not the rule for Heineman, who never had more than 5 sacks in any other year. Still, that number was impressive. 1960 T.E. Monty Stickles, Notre Dame in. 1960, the Niners used the 11th overall pick on Notre Dame tight end Monty Stickles, who'd go on to play for the Red and Gold for 8 years, amassing nearly 3,000 receiving yards in the process. 1961 proved to be his best year, in which he recorded a career-best 794 yards and 5 touchdowns over 14 games. His 2009-93 receiving yards currently ranked 20th among all San Francisco pass catchers all time and 4th among the franchise's tight ends. 1954 QB Bernie Filoni, Maryland quarterback. Bernie Filoni rebuffed the 49ers' offer to play for them after they used the numbered 11 overall pick in 1954, opting to head north of the border where he'd carve out a notable career in the CFL. It's safe to say the Niners whiffed on this pick. 1950 DL Leo Nomellini, Minnesota. If Willis wasn't enough of a justification to suggest San Francisco's success with players drafted 11th overall is good. Defensive lineman Leo Nomellini should convince any doubters otherwise. Prior to the dynasty years of the 1980s, some would argue Nomellini was the 49ers' greatest player of all time, an absolute legend who set the tone for the red and gold throughout the 1950s and well into the 1960s, doubling not only as a defensive lineman, but playing on the offensive line too. During that Hall of Fame career of his, Nomellini tallied 10 Pro Bowl selections and 6 first-team All-Pro nods. It wouldn't be a reach to suggest Nomellini should be in the conversation for greatest defensive player in NFL history, and not just the Niners. And now, Niners fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for Niners. I'll be back any moment with more Niners news.